strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, I will not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Good morning and welcome to Johnny's Bite. It's Wednesday. I'm in high spirits. It's my day of birth. Today, the finance minister will, by law, represent the president of the republic and the executive, present the budget for 2022. So let's take stock of the budget for 2021. The key things that were said in the budget. And you know that since the Nana Addo Dankwa-led administration came into power, we have had the Asempa budget, we have had the Ejuma budget, we have had the Impunto budget, we have spoken about Obatampa Cares project and all of that. Embedded in the Obatampa Cares project, we're told about entrepreneurship and we're told about the youth bank. This morning, I want to ask that one fiscal year is ending. Where is the youth bank? Because it's part of the Obatampa whole mix. You have people go ahead and talk about it and espouse it and tell you about the positives. It's a good initiative, but where is it? Where is the youth bank? That's the first question I'm asking this morning. Number two, you also know that through the State of the Nation address and through, the budget statement and everything else, we've been told about how planting for food and jobs, rearing for food and jobs, and I've seen the Ministry of Finance do a very beautiful documentary on television stations telling us how there's connectivity, one district, one factory, one village, one dam, planting for food and jobs, rearing for food and jobs, and all of that. As for the stories, we know how to tell them. As for the explanations and the speeches, we know how to make them. But those things that we speak about, are they affecting the people? Because the word on the street today, as we speak, we do know that transport owners are threatening to stop operating because they need 5 taxes taking off their fuel. They say 5 taxes should be taken off their fuel. And these taxes were slapped at the last budget. They were assured in a crunch meeting with the Minister of Transport that something will be done about it. So we are hoping that something will be done about it. The guys at NAPCO were promised, and then now they have been asked to stay, but they were promised permanency. The Information Minister said that, they should wait, something good will come. Dr. Anyas had promised same when he appeared on this network with Bella. So today, the NAPCOians, or NAPCOnians, as they like to be called these days, would want to hear what good news is there for them. Now, let me take you back, because the Greek minister is still speaking, and he's still defending his stance. In one breath, we say, there was drought in 2020 towards the latter part, and also the fact that we had a double yield. I find that a bit confusing, because in that same year that we're blaming COVID-19 and the drought, in that same year, we're talking about a double yield. And the president will have occasion to go to Parliament in the State of the Nation address to say that we are now a net exporter of food. And the Great Minister nods to it and even addresses the, results fair or something like that, and talks about the price of planting and all of that. Take a listen to the President of the Republic telling us that we are a net exporter of food. Take a listen.
The dramatic turnaround of our agricultural fortunes due to the progressive policies that have improved the living standards of farmers in the country. The excellently executed policy for planting for food and jobs has laid the foundation for the agricultural transformation of our country. We are able to say that our country is now a net exporter of food, and we no longer have to import basic foods like plantain and tomatoes. Mr. Speaker,
I asked which market. Nobody has been able to tell me which market we can get such food from. But the Greek minister insists that what he said the first time is correct, and that those of us who are asking the questions about the size of the ball of cake are now creating a certain own perception of shortage of food and how expensive food has become and all of that. My simple question is this. If we had a double yield in the year 2020, and we say we have constructed warehouses and saved and stored the maize, okay? In that space of 1 year, can we suddenly now say that poultry farmers who are complaining that they can't find maize to buy at a cheaper rate, so most of them are deciding to fold up? I showed you the Kosiani Meko picture, how it's now moved from 1 cedi or 80 pesos as it was then to now 1 cedi 20 pesos, in some places 1 cedi 50 pesos. I showed you the ball of kenke, which used to be 1 cedi, which the president complained about, which became 1 cedi 50 pesos, now 2 cedis, and in some places 3 cedis. I also told you about banku, I told you about cocoa, and I told you about tuozafi, all those maize-based meals. But the Greek minister insists that what he said is correct. Listen to him.
Wrong perception. The statistics that we compile in this ministry do not support that. I mean, the size of kenke that you're talking about, we've had this our 5th year of planting for food and jobs. Nobody complained about the size, reducing size of kenke until this year. Why? Because there was a drought last year in the southern part of this country, a very heavy drought, both in the major and minor season in the forest and the southern part. People forget these things very easily, and that affected supplies. This year, fortunately, apart from the 1 month delay in the major season rains in the south, the rains have been excellent. The naysayers were saying a few months ago, including the former president, that there's going to be famine. In fact, we are on the cusp of a major boom in food production, to the extent that if you monitor the tamale market, for instance, grain market, prices are tumbling, and we are at the beginning of the harvest. The harvest will be at its peak and completed by the end of December.
That's our Greek minister speaking to key stakeholders in an air-conditioned room. That was not the market. He is insisting that the data that their Greek ministry has gathered is contrary to what the people on the ground are telling him. That's what their Greek minister is saying. But you also know that as we sit presently, the deputy Greek minister announced a ban on the exportation of the so-called food that we have had in double yield. You remember that there's a ban. That we don't even know the limits of the ban when the ban is ending. We don't even know. And we don't know, even though we had sunk so much money into planting for food and jobs, fertilizers, improved seed, agric extension officers, whatnot, all the digitalization things that we spoke about there, even though it was not highlighted by the Vice President, Dr. Baumia, at his digitalization seminar or fireside conversation. But that's not the point. The point is that the Greek minister is insisting that what he said in the first instance is correct. So those of us who are asking questions and showing pictorial and video evidence of what is on the ground, we're creating a certain perception which is not the actual picture. Guess what? The Greek minister also said that we will have plenty food by the end of December. Earlier, he has said on another radio station, I think at Doom FM or so, that we're going to have more food by October. We are in November. Now he's talking about December. This is his deputy minister for Agric. Ghana Web. Source from 3 News, by the way. Friday, 13th August 2021. Food prices will be stabilized by September. Deputy Minister for Agric assures Ghanaians. Said the Deputy Minister for Agric, Food and Agric, Yafrin Poado, has admitted that prices of food are soaring in the country, but assured Ghanaians that food prices will become stable soon. That's a different position from what his minister says. His minister says the prices are tumbling down. He has agreed, as of August, that what we're having is a bit of a challenge. Now, according to him, the current hike in food prices because of the weather conditions, and this is seasonal, will be brought under control once harvesting begins in September, October. We are in November. We are in November. Today is the 17th of November. We're going to read the budget. I'm just reminding them. Now, what do the market women think of what our Greek minister has been saying? The market women didn't blink. They spoke their truth. They sell the food. They are the ones who import the food. They are the ones who buy the food from the hinterlands and bring it to the market. They are the ones who know their troubles. And like Bob Marley says, he who feels it knows it more. This is what the market women said.
It's lying. It's not true. If you want to know the truth, enter into the market. You see what is going on. Now the margarine is 6 cedis. First is 4 cedis, 3 cedis. Now it's 6 cedis. Look at the ways. More than 3 months now. Now red oil is 16. The yellow one is 20 Ghana. First is 15 cedis, 14 cedis. Now it's expensive.
Enyampa. Enema boyedin. Na ile kura ne boyedin pa. Ese ba yewe.
The minister's claims are false. Food prices are up, including yam. 3 tubers of yam used to sell at 10 cedis, but now 2 tubers are selling at 12 cedis.
Udi mango fry beba. Lole fe 300 adeka baako. Kaya bejini die. Asase bejini die te nyama boy papa.
Transport fares for a carton of mango from the Volta region is 300 cedis before other expenses. Even a ball of kenke has shot up.
3 cedis kitwa. Me akadoko 1 cedi na midi. Se samedi doko 3 cedi kwa me.
Ade anyone so say Jenny bi ni ho. Ente ne boarding kakra. Into so ni one boarding.
Onions, tomatoes are in the lean season, so they are very expensive, unlike the bumper season where they are sold cheaper.
The
minister is lying. It's not true. If you want to know the truth, enter into the market. You see what is going on. Now,
Mr. Minister, you heard the market women. They say you are lying. They didn't blink. They called you a liar. And I felt very embarrassed. I felt very, very embarrassed. And you know the market they were speaking from? They were speaking from a market in Accra we called Kwashai Ajarano. Kwasye Jaso. In that market, the history behind it is that the people who sell there, Sebi in Predria Sata Flache, Kwashai Jiame. So they sell the food at very, very cheap prices. Bring the sound down a bit. The people are Kwasye Jaso. Can you bring the sound a bit? Bring the sound down for me. I'm not doing a DJ jam. And Danny, bring the sound down for me. The women at Kwashia Jarano, Kwasye Jasu, they say you are telling lies. They didn't blink. They are telling you their truth. One of the things that you have touted, maize, soya bean, cowpeas or beans as you saw there, and they are telling you the prices. And they say if you want to know the prices, get onto the market. Don't sit in your office and let people bring figures to you, Mr. Minister. Food is expensive in this country as we speak. Explain it away with drought and whatever it is. But food is expensive. And you see how the woman connected the prices of food with fuel price increases. She now is paying more money to get mango transported from the Volta region. And this is just one. Everybody is paying more. The cost of living is high. The rich and poor are beginning to cry. So it's not about words anymore. Because we have sunk so much money into planting for food and jobs, rearing for food and jobs, planting for food and export, whatever it is. We have pumped so much money into it that our story about the prices of food, whether seasonal or not, must not be the case. Because, you see, we also told ourselves that we're going to have dams, that we're going to provide all year round irrigation because we know that we have 2 or 3 major planting seasons. So even if the rain decides to do us nya, we were going to have our own dams that will provide all year round irrigation. We're going to have improved seedlings. We're going to send extension officers. We would have fertilizers, and we'll have all manner of digital plugins so that we will not be talking about such a situation. Now we are explaining ourselves. And this whole retrospective analysis that's sometimes done, it doesn't make sense to me. Somebody was doing it. You said the person was not doing it right. Then you came and you said you have superior ideas that can fix the problems that we had identified with whatever was happening in the past. Then the people gave you their power and renewed the power for you. Now, when you are asked questions, then you start going back to what you said was incompetent, substandard. What kind of thinking is that? We are not living in the past. We saw that the person was not doing it. You told us that you could lead us in a certain way. Now you have come. Fuel prices are up. When we talk about it, then you talk about the fact that, oh, there's a global phenomenon. Fuel is expensive everywhere. Yes, fuel is expensive on the global market, but there are also local factors. Taxes, no. Taxes, you put too many taxes on the fuel. Plus, your exchange rate, your CD is weak. Before the dollar, before the pound, before the euro. I thought the Vice President, Dr. Baumia, and the IGP Apietu had told us that he had arrested the CD and given the dollar, giving the key to IGP to keep. The IGP kept quiet. The Vice President went ahead and made those claims. However bogus they were, he made them. Do you remember also that we set up a 40-member committee, 40-member FX committee, to look at how we're going to stabilize our dollar and CD relationship? We set up the committee. Whether they take monies or not, I don't know. Nobody has accounted to us yet. So I want to assume they may be doing this for free. But you and I know. Since they started working, how strong has the CD been before the dollar? Today, if you are an importer and you go to the port, you may just pee on yourself. And when we talk, then you start explaining. When we talk, then you start explaining with English. And you start referring us to what you call incompetent. And I'm saying that kind of retrospective analysis, we don't want. That kind of retrospective analysis, we don't want. You see how the Vice President expertly started doing the analysis at the digitalization fair from 2017. He was comparing himself with himself or by himself. 2017, that's where it started. So that's where you should be starting, 2017. Don't tell us about 2012 and 2016. And one funny thing I've seen too is that we now quote percentages. Instead of quoting the actual figure, we are now quoting percentages. Oh, it's gone up by this percent and by that percent. Hello? 10% of 100 cedis is not the same as 10% of 500 cedis. So when you are quoting the percentages, quote the figures that come along with it so that when the people are doing the analysis, they can do the analysis properly. Because when I go to the fuel pump to buy fuel, they don't sell the fuel to me in percentages. When I go to buy kenke, yam, banku, akple, I go to buy beans, gobe, and all of that, they don't sell it to me in percentages. So they don't measure it in percentage. They measure it by olonka, by margarine chins, by sack. That's how they measure it. By one basket. They don't measure in percentages. They don't measure in percentage. Even orange is sold or 100. We don't measure in percentages. So stop the percentages and all of those jargons that you throw about. Chrome Ayashi, today you're reading the budget. We want to hear good news. And we want to hear less of your voice and more of action. And you must tell your communicators and those presidential staffers who have made Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram their houses, their rented rooms there, and everybody who talks, they tell them to shut up. You must tell them to shut up and start working because we pay them. You must tell them to shut up and start working because we pay them. They are not there at their whims and caprices. They are not there at their own will. We put them there. They are our employees. We as citizens are the employers. And we are asking questions. I say the women at Kwashia Dano, Kwasiye Jaso, they say the minister is telling lies. That if he wants to know the real situation, he should get onto the market. Say Kwasiye Nitia, na gregu, ke Kwashia hiye chile lepe, shemo agbena. Good morning.
Not true. If you want to know the truth, enter into the market. You see what is going on. Now the margin is 6 cedis. First is 4 cedis, 3 cedis. Now it's 6 cedis.